With the devastating wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, with countless thousands of ordinary Iraqis and Afghanis have lost their lives. And of course, there's also been the completely needless, senseless waste of young American and British lives. And we are extremely pleased to be able to introduce our next speaker, who, when she faced the terrible tragedy of losing a son in Iraq, decided to make a stand. She became a political campaigner in the belly of the beast. She's camped outside George Bush's ranch in Texas. She ran for Congress in 2008. I'm very pleased that she's come all this way to speak to us tonight. Cindy Sheehan.
Thank you. The last time I was really here for any amount of time was about 5 years ago, when it was in December of 2005, as a matter of fact. There was a large international anti-war rally sponsored by the Stop the War Coalition that I was invited to speak at. Back then, when I came here, I was given a reception by the mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, I think his name was, or Stone or something, and a play was premiered here that was written about me by award-winning Pulitzer Prize, or Nobel Prize, I think, playwright Dario Fo, and there was a large anti-war movement globally. And the reason I'm here today is because of what happened to the anti-war movement. And first of all, I want to argue with Alex a little bit, because he said your government was bastards. I come from the country that has the biggest bastards in the government. I don't even think we have to arm wrestle over that one. I think, unfortunately, I already win. And Barack Obama's in India right now, in case you haven't heard. And we're hoping that he's going to talk them into outsourcing some jobs to the United States while he's there. Because we could use them. And in case you don't know, most of our jobs went to India or to Asia and other places, Mexico, South America. And anyway, back in 2005, George Bush was president. You guys all remember him, right? And he was very unpopular, very popular all over the world. So that's why I became popular all over the world. Because I actually was one of the first people to stand up and say no to him, to his wars, to his policies, in a very public way. I know there was millions of people who protested the wars before they happened, but what did George Bush say? That those were just focus groups. He said, I don't have to listen to focus groups. He's coming out with a new book that I'm sure he wrote all by himself. And it's coming out on Tuesday. And there's an old joke. There's an old joke in the United States that said that George Bush's house caught on fire and the bathroom was totally devastated. And he was really sad because his library was destroyed. but the sad thing was he hadn't even finished coloring one of the books. So you can catch my act in Dublin and in Athens next week too. I'll be there. But anyway, more seriously, because these are very serious issues that we face. Back in 2005, the anti-war movement in the United States was large. The Democrats and the democratically controlled anti-war groups and unions, labor, they saw the energy of the movement. They realized that they can exploit the anti-war issue to come back into power. And they did. They came back into power in 2006. What did Nancy Pelosi, my opponent, my nemesis, say? The one who became Speaker of the House in 2007. She said that impeachment was off the table. She funded George Bush's wars fully. They supported the USA Patriot Act. They supported the Military Commissions Act in the United States. They supported the bankster bailout at the end of 2008, where the banks, Wall Street in the United States got approximately $850 billion. Now we know these bailouts have come to the trillions of dollars around the world, but the anti-war movement supported, most of the anti-war movement, supported the Democrats. And so the Democrats come back in power, they fully fund George Bush's wars, they refuse to hold him accountable, because these are the things that the ruling class establishment in my country wanted all along. So we have pretend opposition every 2 to 4 years. We have more pretend opposition. And so in 2008, Barack Obama rides this wave of, we want somebody different. We don't want George Bush anymore. Barack Obama became some kind of rock star, but I swear to God, I think a piece of dog doo-doo could have beat John McCain in 2008. As long as they put a D behind his name. When my son was killed in 2004, I blamed George Bush. I blamed the Republicans. I didn't blame the system. And I started to, you can clap, it's a bad. I don't even spell it S-Y-S-T-E-M. I spell it C-Y-S-T-E-M. Get it? System? And system, like the cyst. And as a matter of fact, way back in 2006, while everybody was saying we need Democrats in power, I was saying, George Bush is bad, granted. Dick Cheney is evil, granted. Most of that administration were bad, but Barack Obama carried many of those people over into his administration. But I started trying to tell my fellow Americans that George Bush is bad. Yeah, we have every right to not like George Bush and what he's done. But he wouldn't have been able to do it without the complicity of the so-called Peace Party. And so anyway, I started calling George Bush the boil on the ass of democracy. And thought, listen here, can you say ass in the United? Okay, I say it all the time in the United States. As a matter of fact, I practiced for coming here by watching reruns of Faulty Towers. Out of this country for sure is Faulty Towers. And so anyway, I don't know why I'm being so funny tonight. It's probably because I'm sick. And so anyway, and I've been watching Faulty Towers, so how can you not be funny after you've been watching that for like a month? And so anyway, followed me on this. When you have a boil, this is kind of gross, but don't tune out. When you have a boil, it's a symptom of a bigger disease, right? So if you lance a boil and the boil goes away, if you don't cure the disease, what's going to happen? You're going to get more boils. And that's what happened in 2008. We didn't cure the disease. We have Democrat, Republican, the same. They're just two wings of the same bird that I like to call the war party, the bankers party, the capitalist party. And so